Hello everyone, welcome back to Trillo, my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get back to YouTube. Hope you like this video, and without wasting our time, let's begin. Well, good luck today, Izuku. Namiri hugged him as he left the UA staff room. Come on, Nimi. You know he's going to be the best in class. Rumi boasted and patted his head. I won't disappoint you. Izuku smiled, almost blinding them. After that, the mothers went to their respective classes. Once Izuku got to class, he opened the humongous door to see most of the class there. He noticed his bullies were in class but paid no mind to them. He went to his desk, which was beside Momo's, to his delight. Good morning, Momo-chan, Izuku greeted with a smile and put down his bag at his desk. Good morning, Izuku, Momo greeted back, her cheeks reddening slightly. Welp, time to wake up, sensei, Izuku said as he went to the front of the class and pulled out a yellow caterpillar-like sleeping bag. Everyone stared at him. Izuku opened the bag and poked the man inside. Sensei, everyone is here already, wake up. Aizawa sat up, shocking most of the class. I already knew everyone was here, Zu. With an expressionless face, I was testing them. Izuku sighed and went back to his seat. Quite irrational, he stood up, shedding the sleeping bag, revealing himself to be clothed in a black jumpsuit and a long scarf. I am Shoyuto Aizawa, your homeroom teacher. Now, he took out a blue UA gym uniform. Put these on and head outside to our athletic field. What about orientation? A girl with orange hair and a long ponytail asked. Irrelevant ceremony. Hurry up now, Aizawa said. The class didn't take long to head out the door. Izuku was the first of the field, followed shortly by Tenya. They were two of only 9 boys in Class 1A. The others included Kaminari Denki, a blonde with a black lightning bolt in his hair. Kirishima Ijiru, a boy with red spiky hair. Tetsu, one with large eyelashes and silver spiky hair. Tokoyami Fumikichi, one with jet black hair oddly shaped like a bird. Kota Koji, one whose head resembled a rock outcropping or a dinosaur. He'd learn their quirks later. Of course, the other two were Shoto Todoroki and Katsuki Bakugo. Soon the rest of the students who were girls arrived. They had been talking loudly, so they heard their names. They are Mina Ishido. She looked like an alien with pink skin and horns. Can she shoot her horns out? Ochako Uraraka. Wonder what her quirk is. Toru Hagakure. Does she refract light? Itsuka Kendo. Sisterly vibe. Even more than a sister. Reiko Yanagi. She has white hair. Is it because of their quirk? Is she also floating above the ground? Kyokujiro. Were earlobes he quirk? Tsuyu Ajui. She looks like a frog. Ibara Shiozaki. Her quirk is her hair. I wonder what she can do with it. He of course knew Momo and Kano already. Izura, Shoka, and Kitsuka were also there. When the last student arrived, Aizawa sighed and checked his stopwatch. 10 minutes. In that time, hundreds of civilians may have died. We'll have to work on that. Welcome to your quirk assessment test. There was a brief commotion before Aizawa threw a ball towards Izuku. Izuku, I'll call you by your name. It's too long. You managed to beat the previous record on the entrance exam. How far could you throw a ball in before without using your quirk? A little over 75 meters, Izuku responded, trying to ignore the murmurs about him breaking the record. Then stand in the circle here and do so while using your quirk. Izuku smirked and closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes again, he opened all 6 of them, transforming into his demonic form. The Sosthenes looked in shock. Izuku's smirk grew wider. He summoned his branch sword and made it grow to an impressive 12 feet. He threw the ball upwards, which flew 50 feet above the ground, and hit the ball with his sword like a baseball bat. The force was so much that all of them fell. The ball flew so fast that it broke the sound barrier several times, causing 6 consecutive sonic booms. Katsuki shouted, "Why we all fell? You nerd." "I won't do it again, Kachin," Izuku said as he smirked once again. The Sosthenes froze. Only one person used that name, and he had the same quirk. "My name is Izuku Kiyama Sugiyama, the son of Midnight and Mirko. You can just call me Kiyama. I hope we can be good friends in the future," Izuku told the rest of the class, with a bright smile. Momo blushed to see his smile. Mina saw this, and her shipping senses went into overdrive. "Looks like someone has a crush on someone, BFF." Mina cheekily whispered, but not quite enough, and Kendo, Hagakure, Shiozaki, and Azui heard. The 6 girls were best friends since childhood and knew about her being the daughter of All Might. I say, shut up, Mina. Momo whispered fiercely as her face turned crimson red. At that moment, Aizawa's device sent a ping, and the distance was shown to the class. Over 100,000 kilometers. Denki exclaimed in surprise. Nice. We get to use our quirks. Fun. Uraraka cheered. Aizawa glinted in his eye as he chuckled. Oh, you think this is all fun and games? Well, let's make it even more fun, shall we? You'll be competing with each other in 8 physical challenges to determine your potential. The one who comes in last will be judged to have none and will be expelled. Everyone paled except Izuku. They weren't expecting an expulsion to happen already. He could vaguely hear Ochako claim it was unfair, and Aizawa made a speech about the world being unfair and that the job of a hero was to correct the unfairness of the world. We fought tooth and nail to get here, Aizawa-sensei, Izuku proclaimed, some of us figuratively and some of us literally. We are not leaving without a fight. Aizawa looked at Izuku, his face unreadable. Izuku knew the man was proud, but did not want to show favoritism. The other students, however, started to perk up. Some of them who looked sick to their stomach now looked confident. He heard 2 of the boys, the ones with red and silver hair, say, so manly, in unison, giving each other a look as they did. Izuku had a blast. Not so much the physical tests as seeing everyone else's quirks in action. He wished he could have had his notebook out to record his thoughts on them. He'd have to do it later that day. He was always first in most of the events. His classmates, however, Tenya's leg engines allowed him to dominate the 50-meter dash. Shiozaki was able to use them to get over 700 kilograms on the grip strength test. The girl, Reiko Yanagi, cleared the long jump with ease by using her telekinesis on herself. Uraraka broke the curve on the ball throw by simply touching it and sending it out of the atmosphere, earning a score of infinity. The best one, though, was Momo, whose quirk allowed her to create seemingly anything. She cleared the dash using rocket-powered skates. She made an industrial clamp to destroy the grip tester. She created a bicycle for the distance run. She got second place in the ball toss by using a cannon. For heaven's sake. Izuku was a bit confused until he realized she had 2 quirks. Creation would have been her original quirk, while One for All. Uncle Might had offered it to him, but he had declined. Must have been the quirk she was using in the entrance exam. Interesting, Izuku thought to himself. Even the ones whose quirks weren't suited for this test were giving it their all. The boy with the rock/dinosaur-shaped head, Kodakoji, summoned a raven to carry the ball for the throw. Hagakure was surprisingly flexible in the seated toe touch. Izuku Kiyama Usajiyama, Momo Yagi Irozu, Ibara Shiozaki, Shoto Todoroki, Katsuki Bakugo, Itsuka Kendo, Tenya Ida, Izura Midoriya, Fumikage Tokoyami, Ijiro Kurishima, Tetsu Tetsu, Kitsuka Bakugo, Ochako Uraraka, Kana Aizawa, Mina Ishido, Koji Koda, Tsuyu Azui, Reiko Yanagi, Denki Kaminari, Shoka Todoroki, Kyokujiro, Toru Hagakure. Hagakure started to cry due to being last, and her friends comforted her. Izuku turned and glared at Aizawa in anger. By the way, no one's being expelled, Aizawa said, casually. At the nonplussed stares of the students, he explained, it was a logical ruse to push you to your limits. Momo looked at the rest of the class and said, I'm surprised the rest of you didn't figure it out. At their stare, she tilted her head. I'm sorry. Should I have said something? No, he was telling the truth. There is no Class 2A cause he expelled all of them. He didn't expel anyone because he sees potential in all of us, Izuku said. As the color completely drained from Momo's face, Aizawa turned to Izuku, almost creaking audibly as he did. Izuku, do you want to do this? Are you that much of a problem child? Eraserhead said, utterly deadpan. Izuku's anxiety was beginning to take over. Well, you did say you weren't going to coddle us. Do you think we can't handle it? He hated how he almost stammered, but he was in too deep at this point. Huh. Having Mirko as his mother made him grow a backbone. Eraserhead gave a mirthless smile. Very well. As Midoriya here indicated, I have no problem expelling students who I felt had zero potential. Being a pro hero is a dangerous job. And if you don't do everything in your power when faced with a challenge, you're putting your own life and the lives of others at risk. I refuse to let a student graduate only to find them in the obituaries a year later. I didn't expel anyone because all of you managed to impress me. Even those of you whose quirks weren't suited for these tests did your best and stretched your creativity to its limits. You all went to Plus Ultra, and that's why I'm letting you continue. For now, you're dismissed for today. I recommend you keep up the pace we set here if you wish to stay. Tomorrow, the real work begins, Eraserhead said simply. Be sure to pick up a syllabus back in the classroom. Izuku, I would like a word before you leave. Izuku nodded and went to stand by his side. After the rest of the class went to the changing room, Aizawa asked, Zu, how are you feeling now? Seeing your old bullies and sis dash, don't call her my sister. Izuku said angrily. Sorry, he apologized. To be honest, my anger grew once I saw them. I'm sure Azura figured out who I am, and they're going to try something to get me back. Izuku said, Zu, if you don't want to, you don't have to go, and you can stay with your mothers. Izuku smiled and said, Obviously, I'm not going to go back to them. Good. Also, your mothers wanted to talk to you about something important. I assure you it's very good news. Aizawa said, Hurry back to class now. I'm guessing your classmates would want to hang out. After changing, Izuku ran to the classroom so fast, it looked like he teleported into the classroom. Once he entered, all of his classmates looked at him expectantly. Izuku asked, worried he'd offended them somehow. Bro, are you okay? The red-headed boy, Ijiro asked. Aizawa-sensei got intense back there, Itsuka said, frowning. We were worried? Oh, it's nothing. He just wanted to relay some information my parents wanted to tell me, Izuku replied. Thank you for your concern, though. So what's your quirk, Mr. First Place? Uraraka asked cheerfully. All of them were curious to know. Please don't hate me after this. My quirk is known as Demon, Izuku said, turning his head away. Why would we hate you? Your quirk doesn't define you, Momo said. He turned around in surprise. Most of the class was amazed, except for the obvious five. Such a vast and mysterious power. Reiko, the gray-haired girl who looked vaguely ghost-like, intoned with a wispy voice. From the darkness of a life with such a quirk, he wields an overwhelming light. The bird-headed boy, Fumikage, said with as much gravitas as he could muster. The two of them stared at each other as if trying to size up exactly how goth the other was. Itsuka decided to interrupt. Well, I know Hobo-sensei was bad-mouthing it earlier, but why don't we all go grab something to eat and get to know each other? We're going to be here for 3 years, assuming we keep the bum happy, so we might as well learn who we'll be working with. Mina and Toru gave out a cheer, and most of the class seemed to agree. Izuku was about to leave out of habit when Ijiro and Tetsu roped him in, saying that they wanted to hear his workout routine, and he realized they were all expecting him to attend. They wanted him to attend. I'll join in, Izuku said happily, hoping he wasn't crying. He pulled out his notebook. Would anyone mind if I asked about your quirks? Analyzing them has been a hobby of mine for the longest time. Sure thing, Mito bro, Ijiro said with a smile. Ask away. Izuku began to have a field day asking questions as they made their way out of UA. Sure, there were hiccups, but even with all of that, this was the best time he'd ever had at school. On the way home, Izura Midoriya contacted her parents. Hello, Izura. Has school ended already? Inko asked. Can you add Dad to the call? Izura asked. After a few moments, the three Midoriyas were on a call. Dad, Mom, I found Izuku, she said, sadly. He's in UA? Both parents exclaimed, happy to have found him. That's not the worst part. He hates all of us, and he was adopted by Midnight and Mirko, and they, Eraserhead, and most of the UA staff know his past. Izura broke down. The parents were shocked, and Hisashi started calling the other heroes. Meanwhile, Izuku got home quickly. Living near UA High was such a blessing. Once he got home, he saw his mothers on the couch shivering with excitement. What's up, moms? Aizawa said you wanted to tell me something important, he asked as he sat down on the opposite couch. Namiri, who was beaming, said, Izuku, you going to be a big brother soon? Izuku was surprised, then shocked and confused. He started a mutter storm. How is this possible? Maybe Mom went to a sperm donor, or are they adopting? Is that why both my mothers were vomiting the other day? Is it a boy or girl? Rumi flicked his forehead and said, "There is a service where hospitals create babies using DNA fusion and implanting them into a mother's womb. It even works for couples like us, who are both males or females. And the treatment was a success. We got twins, and we are carrying one of them each," she explained. Izuku's eyes sparkled and he cheered. "Are they both girls and boys? Or are they a girl and a boy? Either way, I will love them like their own, unlike what my sister did," he said as he hugged them. "When are you due?" Izuku asked. They chuckled. 2 weeks? Izuku's eyes widened. "Y'all have been pregnant for almost a year and didn't tell me," Izuku said with a frown. "We wanted to confirm the baby's gender before telling you. And I'm carrying the girl while Omi is carrying the boy," Namiri said happily. "Oh, that's that then. Will you be coming to school from tomorrow onwards?" Izuku asked, concerned. "No, we will continue working at UA. We won't engage in any activities, but we will watch. And we are moving to UA where your siblings will be born," Rumi replied. Izuku was shivering with excitement. "I believe you should name them once they are born," Namiri said with a smile. "So normal," Izuku thought as he sat in his morning classes at UA. After yesterday's sudden quirk assessment test, Izuku was wondering if all of the hero course classes would be like that. But it would seem that was not the case. All morning class 1, they had been doing normal school subjects: math, English, history, art, classical Japanese, all subjects that could be found in any Japanese high school. It all just seemed so normal. "Oh wow, I can't believe I get to eat lunch rush's food." Izuku held himself back from fanboying entirely as he walked away from the lunch line. The pro hero, Lunch Rush, was a disaster relief hero, a type of support hero that made food for people displaced by natural disasters or powerful villain incidents. The pro's quirk let him cook high-quality food with the same speed and efficiency of a team of 30 chefs. UA saved quite a few paychecks by only having a few other cafeteria staff needed to keep the place clean. "Kiyama, over here," Uraraka called out as she waved from where she was sitting. Izuku smiled, even as he tried not to fidget nervously while he walked towards the table. "The food here is great, right?" The brunette beamed at him as she held her rice bowl up. "I'm really excited to try Lunch Rush's food," Izuku agreed as he sat down. Despite having basically stayed in UA for the past months, he never got the chance to try Lunch Rush's food. Looking around the table revealed Ida, Yaoyorozu, Kendo, Azui, Jiro, and Kana sitting with them. "It's good stuff?" Kana nodded to him with a smile. "I'm surprised this doesn't cost extra." "It is very good." Yaoyorozu smiled as she enjoyed her lunch. "The best I have eaten so far." Kendo grinned, her hand on her cheek as she ate. As expected of a pro like Lunch Rush, Ida nodded as he took a sip of his drink. So good." Izuku sighed as he took his first bite of the katsudon he'd picked. He'd been so excited to see his favorite food offered. It wasn't as good as his mom's, in his opinion, but it was still great. "What do you guys think afternoon heroics class will be like?" Jiro questioned a few moments later. "Probably just some introductions and basics. That makes the most sense," Azui replied as she looked towards the purplet. "That does sound reasonable." Yaoyorozu nodded in agreement. "This is UA though," Izuku spoke up. "If the heroics teacher is anything like Aizawa then..." He trailed off, and everyone's faces took on a thoughtful or worried expression. He thought their expressions were funny considering who their teacher was going to be. So hope for the best, but prepare for the worst? Kana shrugged with a half-smile, knowing very well who the teacher would be. "That might be for the best." Ida nodded while looking contemplative. "I hope we won't be threatened with expulsion again," Ochako murmured worriedly, nibbling on her rice. "No worries, we got this." Kendo spoke up brightly. The girl was clearly trying to break the tense mood, just like an older sister. "We'll do our best." Jiro nodded as she exhaled heavily. "Heroics class, I am here," the familiar voice called out. Coming through the door like a normal person, All Might exclaimed as he opened the door and struck a hero pose, his cape fluttering in a slight breeze. "No way," Kaminari exclaimed with a huge grin. "All Might is our teacher," Kirishima yelled excitedly. "Hi, Dad," Yura said brightly. "All Might is your father." The class exploded. "Hello, my dear Momo, but please remember I can't show much favoritism in class," Momo nodded enthusiastically with a smile. Though having said that, How's my baby girl doing? And you, young Izuku? My boy, how have you been? The hero asked. Not bad, uncle. Izuku simply answered with a smile. All Might is your uncle. The class was surprised that not one but two people in their class knew All Might personally. Momo was surprised by this. How does Izuku know my father? I'll ask him after school. Welcome to Heroics Basic Training. Think of this class as Hero 101. All Might smiled his trademark smile at the class. Today we'll be getting right into the thick of things with this. He proclaimed as he pulled out a card with the word battle printed on it in big, bright red letters. Battle. Both Bakugos grinned viciously as they stared at the card. Yes, a battle trial. All Might grinned. But if you're going to train to be heroes, you need to look the part. With that, he pressed a button on a small remote he had. From the wall emerged 20 metal cases, each marked with a number corresponding to each student's seat. For that, you'll need these. Costumes. The entire class exclaimed with a cheer. Exactly. All Might smiled. Get changed and meet me at Ground Beta. This is so awesome. Kirishima cheered loudly. Izuku couldn't help but to agree with his red-haired classmate. Ground Beta. They say the clothing makes the man. All Might intoned as he watched the students start to emerge from the locker rooms. As of this moment, you all are heroes. The class all trotted out in their hero costumes, some commenting on other suits while some maintained a quiet, focused attitude. Izuku emerged with the suit he and his parents had come up with together. A red haori with black hakama over an orange kimono and a katana worn on his hip. The traditional outfit was made in a way such that it was easy to wear and was made with the same near-indestructible material used for All Might's costume. He had considered having some kind of mask or helmet, plus a cape at one point, but his parents had questioned the idea. In his mother Namiri words, "Why would you hide your eyes? They'll make people feel calm and safe." He teared up at that, which had led to a family hug fest. Whoa, Kiyama, your costume looks so cool. Ochako smiled brightly as she came up to him. I should have been a bit more specific with mine. The brunette nervously rubbed her head. I was thinking more space suit, but it ended up being skin tight. Izuku had almost stopped functioning when he'd seen Ochako's costume. The suit left little of the girl's figure to the imagination, and Izuku felt his entire face get hot. No way, Chako-chan. You look great. Kendo smiled as she came up beside the brunette. The girl smiled widely as she stood next to Ochako in a green chi-pao with a black corset. I think both of your costumes look great. Izuku smiled, barely able to keep himself from stuttering. Thank you, Kiyama, Ochako smiled. Izuku then noticed Momo, and his cheeks turned red. Momo was wearing a red bodysuit which showed her incredible physique and hard work, and it showed off her curves and left nothing to the imagination. She also had a visor that looked like it had a computer screen in it.